Chosen one, there is a conversation you have been having long after the other person stopped listening. You have repeated it in the shower, rewritten it in your notes, imagined the perfect sentence that would finally make them understand your heart, your motives, and what actually happened. You have explained calmly, then carefully, then emotionally. You supplied context, dates, reasons, and apologies for things you did not intend. You tried softer words, you tried stronger words. You wondered whether your tone was wrong, whether your timing was wrong, or whether one more message could finally open the door. But perhaps the problem was never the quality of your explanation. Perhaps they had already decided who you were before you began speaking. Some people misunderstand you because information is missing. Those relationships may be repaired through patience, humility, and honest conversation. But others misunderstand you because the misunderstanding serves them. It protects their pride. It keeps you in the role they assigned to you. It allows them to avoid examining what they did. If they understood you fairly, they might have to change their story, admit their contribution, or release the power they gain from keeping you on trial. You cannot explain your way out of a verdict someone is emotionally committed to preserving. And the lesson is not to become cold. It is not to stop caring about truth. It is to learn the difference between a conversation and a courtroom in which the sentence was written before you arrived. Chosen one, your peace may begin when you stop begging a closed mind to become an honest witness. Discernment begins by refusing to treat every conflict as identical. Sometimes people misunderstand you because you communicated poorly. You assumed they knew what you meant. You spoke while angry. You withheld important information. You defended your intention without acknowledging the impact. In those moments, maturity asks you to slow down, listen, clarify, and repair what can be repaired. An honest person does not use the language of boundaries to escape accountability. You may need to say, "I see why that hurt you. I should have communicated sooner. My intention was different, but the effect still mattered. What can I do differently next time?" That kind of explanation is not weakness. It is love taking responsibility. But there is another kind of misunderstanding. You clarify, and your words are twisted. You answer one accusation, and 3 new ones appear. You apologize for your part, and the apology is treated as a confession to everything. You share something vulnerable, and it is later used as evidence against you. The conversation does not move toward understanding. It only gives the other person more material with which to prosecute your character. Notice the pattern. Healthy confusion becomes clearer when truth enters the room. Committed misunderstanding becomes more complicated because clarity threatens its purpose. Ask yourself a simple question. When I explain, does this person become more curious or merely more creative in finding reasons not to hear me? You do not need to abandon a relationship because someone needed clarification. But you also do not need to remain indefinitely inside a cycle where every clarification becomes another weapon. Wisdom knows the difference. The urge to explain is often older than the present conflict. Perhaps you grew up in a home where being misunderstood brought punishment, withdrawal, ridicule, or silence. You learned that safety depended on presenting a perfect case. If you could prove that your intention was good, maybe anger would soften. If you could find exactly the right words, maybe love would return. So now, when someone misreads you, your nervous system does not experience a small disagreement. It experiences danger. You feel an urgent need to correct the record. You cannot sleep while someone holds a false version of you. Their opinion begins to feel like a locked room, and you believe your explanation is the key. But their mind is not your home. You are not required to live inside every opinion formed about you. Some of your exhaustion comes from trying to manage an image of yourself that exists in another person's imagination. You monitor their mood, you anticipate their interpretation, You edit your joy so it will not look arrogant. You minimize your pain so it will not look dramatic. You overexplain your no, your absence, your success, your boundaries, and even your silence. Eventually, you are no longer living, you are performing for a jury that never adjourns. Chosen one, you may not be afraid of being misunderstood. You may be afraid of what misunderstanding once cost you. That fear deserves compassion, but it does not deserve permanent control.
The adult you are becoming can survive someone else's incomplete story. You can remain honest without becoming frantic. You can offer clarity without offering your entire soul for cross-examination. An explanation gives context. Permission asks another person to approve your right to choose. The two can sound almost identical. You say, "I cannot attend because I need to rest." But underneath the sentence is a hidden request. Please agree that my exhaustion is serious enough. Please confirm that I am not selfish. Please release me from guilt. You say, "I am changing direction because this path no longer fits." But beneath the details is another plea. Please promise not to think I failed. Please validate the choice before I trust myself. You say, "I need distance from this conversation." Then you provide 12 paragraphs hoping the other person will declare your boundary reasonable. A boundary that requires the other person's agreement is not yet a boundary. It is a negotiation. There are times to negotiate. Shared homes, work commitments, parenting, finances, and important relationships require communication and cooperation. But not every personal decision must be defended until every observer is satisfied. You are allowed to say, "I have considered this carefully, and this is what I need to do." You are allowed to offer one honest explanation without submitting to endless appeals. You are allowed to disappoint someone without concluding that you have harmed them. Disappointment is not always evidence of wrongdoing. Sometimes it is simply what another person feels when your life stops revolving around their expectations. Their feeling can be real without becoming your command. Some people do not ask questions to understand you. They ask questions to collect material. They remember the one imperfect phrase and ignore the 10 careful sentences around it. They repeat your emotional reaction while erasing what provoked it. They invite honesty, then punish you for being honest. This does not mean you should assume evil motives whenever a conversation becomes difficult. Human memory is imperfect. Pain makes everyone selective at times. You also have blind spots, but patterns matter. If vulnerability is repeatedly mocked, private information repeatedly exposed, or explanations repeatedly distorted, wisdom may require less access. Not punishment, not revenge, less access. You do not have to give every person the same depth of explanation. Trust determines access. Character determines access. A person's demonstrated ability to handle truth with care determines access. Jesus answered some questions fully. He answered others with a question. At times he remained silent before people who were not seeking truth but a charge against him. Silence is not always fear. Sometimes silence is discernment refusing to feed a dishonest process. You can say, "I have already shared what I am comfortable sharing." You can say, "I am willing to discuss a solution, but I will not continue defending my character." You can say, "We remember this differently. I have nothing more to add." Short sentences can carry mature boundaries. You do not need a closing argument every time someone prefers a false conclusion. There comes a point when another explanation adds nothing. Your pattern must speak. If someone calls you unreliable, become consistent where consistency is yours to give. If they call you selfish, continue practicing generosity without abandoning healthy limits. If they say you are changing, let them be correct. Growth always looks like betrayal to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries.
Do not build your life as a counter-argument. You do not need to become successful to embarrass those who doubted you. You do not need to display happiness so someone regrets losing access to you. You do not need to publish indirect messages, collect allies, or rehearse your innocence before every mutual friend. That is still explanation, only performed through spectacle. Build quietly, keep promises, correct your mistakes, pay attention to your motives, apologize when you cause harm, leave what repeatedly destroys your peace. Return to the work placed in your hands. Over time, a life acquires its own language. Not everyone will read it fairly. Some people can watch years of integrity and still select the interpretation that protects their resentment. But your purpose is not to force every witness into agreement. Your purpose is to become someone whose private and public life are moving toward the same truth. Let consistency replace the frantic need for vindication. Let time reveal what argument cannot. One of the hardest truths is that some people may never return with the words you deserve. They may never say, "I judged you too quickly." They may never admit that they repeated an incomplete story. They may never acknowledge how often you tried to make peace. You may never see the moment when life reveals to them what you could not explain. If your healing depends on their correction, your future remains tied to their honesty. Release does not mean pretending the lie did not hurt. It does not mean allowing slander to damage your safety, livelihood, children, legal standing, or community without appropriate action. In serious circumstances, document facts, seek counsel, communicate clearly, and protect what must be protected. But many misunderstandings do not require a public trial. They require grief. Grief for the relationship you believed was possible, grief for the version of you they refused to see, grief for the apology that may never arrive. Then, slowly, acceptance. Not acceptance that their story is true, acceptance that you may not be the person who changes it. There is freedom in saying, "I wish they understood, but I no longer need their understanding in order to continue." You can carry sadness without carrying the assignment to convince them. Be careful here, chosen one. The message, "Stop explaining yourself," can become a shield for pride if it is not held with humility. Sometimes you are not being misunderstood. Sometimes you are being confronted. Sometimes the person asking for clarity is not committed to a false story. They are responding to a pattern you do not want to examine. If several trustworthy people who have shown love and honesty over time name the same concern, do not dismiss all of them as enemies of your growth. Ask yourself, have I listened as carefully as I want to be heard? Have I acknowledged impact or only defended intention? Am I calling accountability control because accountability is uncomfortable? Did I change the subject from what I did to how badly I feel about being questioned? Truth does not fear examination. A healthy boundary is not, "Nobody may challenge me." A healthy boundary is, "Challenge me with honesty and respect, and I will listen. Distort me, insult me, or endlessly move the standard, and I will step away." Humility keeps discernment from becoming superiority. You are capable of being misjudged, and you are capable of being wrong. Both can be true in the same life, sometimes even in the same conversation. Peace is not created by declaring yourself innocent in every conflict. Peace grows when you can own what is yours and release what is not. The next time you feel the urge to send the fifth explanation, pause. Ask 3 questions. First, is there anything true here that I need to own? Do not rush past this. If you caused harm, repair matters more than protecting your image. Offer a direct apology, name what happened, avoid excuses, change the behavior. Second, is this person showing evidence that they want to understand? Curiosity has signs. They ask questions without traps. They can repeat your meaning fairly even when they disagree. They acknowledge complexity. They allow new information to change the conversation. Third, what is the smallest honest response this situation requires? Sometimes it is a full conversation. Sometimes it is a correction. That is not what happened, and I will not participate in repeating it. Sometimes it is a boundary. I am available to discuss the issue but not to exchange insults. Sometimes it is silence. Then stop. Do not add paragraphs because anxiety tells you brevity looks guilty. Do not chase them into another room, another message thread, or another audience. Let your answer end. This will feel uncomfortable at first. Your body may interpret the unfinished conversation as danger. Breathe, walk, pray. Write the longer explanation privately if you need to, but do not automatically send it. Teach yourself that an unanswered accusation does not erase your identity. Perhaps God is not asking you to win the argument. Perhaps God is teaching you to stop building your identity from human verdicts. You have spent years trying to be understandable enough to be loved, useful enough to be kept, agreeable enough to remain safe, and impressive enough to silence doubt. But a life directed by every outside interpretation can never become whole. People saw fragments of you. God saw the nights that shaped them. People heard one sentence. God knew the prayer behind it. People measured a decision from the outside. God knew the cost, the fear, the counsel, and the long season that came before it. This does not mean every choice receives divine approval simply because you made it. It means human misunderstanding is not the final authority over your worth. Bring your motives into honest prayer, invite correction, seek wise counsel from people who are not invested in controlling the outcome. Then act with integrity. If correction comes, receive it. If clarity is possible, offer it. If repair is needed, pursue it. But if someone remains committed to a version of you that truth cannot reach, place that version outside the center of your life. You do not need to destroy it. You only need to stop living inside it. Imagine how much energy returns when you are no longer preparing a defense for every decision. Imagine attending a gathering without scanning the room for who believes what. Imagine allowing a boundary to remain one sentence long. Imagine making a mistake, apologizing sincerely, and refusing to turn shame into your permanent address. Imagine knowing that someone misunderstands you and still eating dinner, still sleeping, still creating, still laughing, still moving toward the life you have been called to build. This is not indifference, it is freedom from unnecessary trial. Your peace does not require universal agreement. Your integrity does not require constant advertisement. Your growth does not need permission from people who only recognize the version of you they could control. Let them notice the boundary. Let them call your quietness strange. Let them interpret your departure through the same lens that made departure necessary. You are not responsible for correcting every story told in rooms you no longer enter. You are responsible for the life you live when no one is watching, the truth you tell when it costs you, the repair you make when you are wrong, and the wisdom you practice when conversation has become harm. Chosen one. One honest explanation is often enough for someone who truly wants to understand, and no number of explanations will be enough for someone who needs to misunderstand you. Learn the difference. Do not become cruel. Do not become unreachable. Do not use silence to punish people who deserve communication. Remain teachable. Remain honest. Apologize without hiding. Listen without preparing your defense. Protect serious responsibilities with clear facts and appropriate support. But stop handing your peace to people who keep changing the price of its return. You do not have to prove your heart to everyone who questions it. You do not have to reduce your life to language that a determined critic will approve. You do not have to remain in a courtroom where evidence is ignored and your humanity is treated as an inconvenience. Say what is true, own what is yours, repair what you can, then release the rest.
Some people will understand you later. Some will never understand. Some understood from the beginning but preferred the power of pretending not to. Let God deal with what you cannot reach. Let time speak where words have failed. Let your pattern become clearer than the accusation, and let peace become more valuable than winning a case before people who were never willing to hear it. Chosen one, stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Your life is waiting for the energy you have spent defending it.